Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I'm Blackbright, and I always put the disclaimer. I have no legal qualifications. I'm not an immigration lawyer. I just speak from my heart. And I hope that what I piece together is useful for some people. My topics are primarily Black-centered, and so I kind of focus on those people who I feel could be disadvantaged through lack of knowledge. So I try to share that knowledge with people, and I do appreciate that there's certain things, when they put the small print in, it's kind of a devious way that people don't hardly ever look at the small print, do they? But it's it's how people get what they want at the end of it, and it's a form of protection. So sometimes, even though it's laborious to read the small print, it's your protection too. Now I'm talking about the passport now, and the devil is in the detail, and this might be boring for some because I'm going to have to read the majority of it, which I don't really like to do. I like to ad lib, but because it's taken from the passport, I don't want to get it wrong. So first of all, we have different passports. We had the black passport that you all know of, before 1983. The 1983, the passport was valid for all countries unless otherwise endorsed, subject to any visa or other entry regulation or countries to be visited. The immigration and visa aspect of it said the possession of a passport does not exempt the holder from compliance with any immigration regulations in force in any territory or from the necessity of obtaining a visa permit where required. It should be noted in this connection that the majority of British territories overseas have immigration restrictions applicable to British subjects as well as aliens. Now, subsequently, that was taken out. What's interesting is that the passport entry post 1983 differs, and I just wonder why there are so many categories of Britishness. There's a reason for it, and the funny thing is that I never realised that. I knew there was a distinction between the British person, the indigenous British person, i.e. the person born in the UK. This is a tricky one. I can't even say the person born in the UK that has foreign nationals as parents. But anyway, for the purposes of this, if your passport says British citizen, you have a right to abode. You have a right to live and work in the country. However, if you are from the Commonwealth countries, how many are there? I'll tell you, there's so many of them. Let me read it from here. If the holder's nationality is shown as British Overseas Territories citizen, British Overseas Citizen, Commonwealth citizen, British subject, British national overseas, or a British protected person, then the holder does not have the right of abode in the UK. Do you know what that means? What it means is that as a British citizen, if it says that on the passport, you have the right to live and work in the UK. And as all those other British categories clumped up together, it means they do not have a right. They can work, they can live, they can do whatever they like in the UK. Well, no, not commit crime, of course. But they can do more or less what anything a citizen can do, but they do not have a right to it. And that is the difference. Because I was wondering what the difference was. That is the difference. And you'd only come across that. I mean, it's not something you're really going to pick up, are you? I mean, who picks up their passports and starts reading those notes at the front or at the back? Not many people. So I would have thought the same rules that were in the pre-1983 would be the same as now, but no, they change constantly, and they change with the times, and they change to incorporate what they need to incorporate. So in other words, that is why somebody who has a British passport but they're a national, all these other categories, can be booted out and can be deported, because even though they can have a legal right to work and live, no, they don't have a legal right to work, but they are allowed, they are given a privilege to work in the country and live in the country. It's a privilege, but they do not have a right. That is the key word. I think it's absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating how, you know, these little changes kind of find their way in to protect the government and the country, and so that they can actually do what they plan to do or want to do. And nobody will know. Who's going to know? Well, I mean, you know, I just happened to come across it. But the fact of the matter is, it's not something you're going to be thinking about. You're going to read that. Well, I don't think you're going to read it. And the thing is, it's in such light print, and the print is so tiny, I had to take my contact lens out to read it. I couldn't even, well, I could read it with my glasses, I guess, but it was still difficult. It's still difficult to read. And it's kind of on one of those pages that's got kind of prints on it, you know, underneath it. So it's not easy to read, and I'd imagine that you would just look at that if you did look at it, and not maybe lawyers will read it and know the value of that information. I mean, I had to literally look up each definition on the www.gov.uk website. Now, for those of you who are interested, you can hang on in there, and if you're not, you can switch off now. Anyway, the British Overseas Territory Citizen, that is a British Overseas Territory Citizen, what a mouthful, was called a British Dependent Territory Citizenship before 26th of February 2002. You're a British Overseas Territory Citizen if you were born in the British Overseas Territory at the time of your birth, or one of your parents was British Overseas Territory Citizen or legally settled in a British Overseas Territory. It's exhausting. Okay, then we have, am I looking from the right page? Hold on one sec, because I've got different pages and I want to make sure I'm reading it right. Now, where's page 4? Okay. British Overseas Citizen. Now, this is where the Commonwealth citizens, you know, the Windrush generation, this is where they fall in. You became a British Overseas Citizen on the 1st of January 1983. If you were a citizen of the United Kingdom and Colonies on the 31st of December 1982, and you did not become either a British citizen or a British Overseas Territory Citizen on the 1st of January 1983. In a nutshell, you became British. You became a British Overseas Citizen on the 1st of January 1983. But before then, you were either a British national or a British subject, I think. Anyway, there's reasons for these different classifications. Otherwise, they would not be in the passport. That's all I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there. You can go and check it for yourself. I can't be spending hours and hours checking. You can find out whether or not you fall into one of these categories. Okay? You became a British subject. Now, where have I missed out now? Okay. I'm jumping the gun. So that was a British Overseas Citizen. A British subject. Until 1949, nearly everyone with a close connection to the United Kingdom was called a British subject, All citizens of the Commonwealth countries were collectively referred to as British subjects until January 1983. So that's what I kind of touched on a little bit before. But since 1983, very few people have qualified as British subjects. You also became a British subject on the 1st of January 1983 if you were a woman who registered as a British subject on the basis of your marriage to a man in one of these categories. Those are the categories I mentioned before. A British national overseas. I'm mentioning these, remember, because this is how the passport is broken down, and these are the people who do not have a right of abode in the UK. Okay, bear that in mind. A right. You can work and you can live here, but you don't have a right. Okay, a British national overseas, someone who was a British overseas territory citizen by connection with Hong Kong, was able to register as a British national overseas before the 1st of July 1997. Now, that's double Dutch to me, but I'm reading it just in case somebody understands what it means. British overseas territory citizens from Hong Kong who did not register as British nationals overseas and had no other nationality or citizenship on the 30th of June 1997 became British overseas citizens on the 1st of July 1997. And if you're not already a British national overseas, you can't apply to become one. The last category, British protected person. You would have become a British protected person on the 1st of January 1983. That seems to be the key date. I meant to look up what happened in 1983, why all of these changes came into place. Something rings a bell, but I can't think of it now. Anyway, you would have to become a British protected person on the 1st of January 1983 if you were a citizen or national of Brunei, were already a British protected person, would otherwise have been born stateless without a country in brackets, in the UK or an overseas territory because you were born, one of your parents was British protected person. Okay, now, of course you'll want to know what these UK overseas territories are. There's 18 of them. Anguilla, I don't even know if I've got them all, but Anguilla, Bermuda, British Antarctic Territory, British Indian Ocean Territory, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Falkland Islands, Gibraltar, Montserrat, Pitcairn Island, Henderson, Duchy and Oena Islands, St Helena, Ascension and Tristan da Cunha. It says some sovereign base areas, Southern Georgia and South Sandwich Islands. Never even heard of them. Turks and Caicos Islands. Anyway, those are the UK overseas territories, and those are the territories from which you do not have an automatic right of abode. So that's why I said the devil's in the detail. You just do not know. You just get your passport, you're happy, you can travel on it, you come and go. When something hits the fan, you don't know where your protection lies. So that's why I'm putting it out there. You can do the rest of the investigation yourself. Okay, and that's all for now. Bye-bye.